Here's an announcement that everyone should probably bear in mind. Crimes will never be completely eradicated. However, justice can never be undermined, as these criminals somehow face retribution, whether by their own hands or by the hands of others. No matter what the case may be, criminals will have their day in court. Here are 20 times criminals fell into their own trap. Number 1. The returning thieves. While some criminals lack a good conscience, we expect that they should at least have a brain, but this is not so for most. It's clearly displayed in this clip where 6 thieves tried to rob a restaurant salesperson early in the morning. They soon discovered that they had come too early and that there was actually no money to steal. And guess who advised them to return after sales had been made? The shopkeeper himself. This would be a warning sign, but shockingly they obliged and left. Every reasonable person would believe that they were gone for good and would never show up again, recognizing the sarcasm of the salesperson. But whoever thought that it would be the case is probably wrong, because it is not what happened, and the thieves were brainless. In the evening, 5 of them showed back up as they had promised, asking for the money. However, this time, it was the worst mistake they could have made, because it landed them in no place other than jail and with no money. The 6th thief had managed to escape the trap.
La police me dit, monsieur, ils vont jamais revenir, c'est pas possible.
Number 2. Self-disarming thief. Take it from me, stealing is not a profession that's for everyone, because not everyone has the skill, courage, guts, and even common sense that's needed to carry it out and make it into a successful operation as the job demands. The funny part of it all is that most thieves don't actually know this. In this clip is a clumsy thief who tries to bite off more than he could chew, and it ends up backfiring, leaving a terrible sting of failure. Imagine a thief or armed robber coming to your house only to transfer his gun to you. It is an interesting thought, but that's exactly what happened in this footage. The footage shows a clumsy thief entering a store trying to steal, and then a comedy show begins. First, he drops his gun accidentally towards the salesgirl across the table, then tries to jump over the table to get it back. When that table proved to be too high, he soon realizes the battle has been lost and the salesgirl already has the gun. The ending sees him disappearing into the street with his pants down. Indeed, the robbery should probably make the Guinness Book of World Records as being the most clumsy robbery ever. Number 3. Failed getaway. Sometimes people see lots of blockbuster movies and imagine themselves as characters. This is even though they don't know or have what it takes to be and do the stuff that these main characters do. Such are these amateur thieves who try to pull off a major theft with a smart escape plan, but in the clip, a thief enters the house and steals as much as she can. After a while, she's seen running out quickly and dashing for the car, but she was not the only one who was running, as she was being chased by her own victim. You could already smell the failure from the setting, as while the actual thief seemed to be doing things right, her partner just wasn't. And just about when the operation was to come to an end, her partner zooms off, causing her to fall off the car. Sadly, she would be left behind to deal with the angry victim, who was already rushing towards her. You don't want to know what happened next. Number 4. Locked in. It is said that thunder does not strike in the same place twice, and this is probably because it knows something that some thieves don't, and it can be disastrous. In this clip, a man revisits a shop that he had previously robbed in the past, but unfortunately for him, the shop's owner had been expecting him and had made changes to the door. That meant that the door locked behind him, and he would not be able to open it up from the inside. In the footage, you can see the thief walking into the shop with a lot of courage. He had successfully gotten the money, only to find out after the theft that he could not leave the shop. He had tried many times in futility, realizing there would be nowhere else to go from here other than jail, and after spending the night in a futile struggle, the cops would open the door to him in the morning, and the next set of doors he would see would be on his prison cell. Number 5. Cop mock theft. There are those crimes that are a total mockery to the criminals. This is especially so when you choose the worst places to commit your crime. Now, I can't tell exactly how this particular thief was reasoning when he went to the police station to try and steal a bicycle. What does he mean by this action? Is he really trying to mock the police? Well, no matter what his intentions were, one thing's for sure, and it's the fact that he will not be getting off scot-free this time. When he was trying to take the bicycle away, he turned to see a policeman behind him. It became one of the most hilarious and perfect situations of being busted. Perhaps the guy was probably homeless and needed a shelter in the police cell, as nothing else would explain such an amount of stupidity. Number 6. Bicycle throw-off. Now, I really don't know the pleasure that some people derive from stealing a bicycle, but it is quite rampant in the Western region. And while so many thieves have succeeded in their bicycle theft operations, not many are that fortunate, especially with smart guys out there like the one in this clip. Tired of the numerous attempted thefts, the guy decides to set a trap that will teach every bicycle thief a lesson, and you never imagine what he did next. First, he keeps the bicycle bait near a tree, but attaches a secret string that is not easy to see. That string is long enough to allow the thief to feel victorious and move for a while, after which the big surprise shortly comes later. After setting the trap, he moved to an unnoticeable spot where he could then capture the entire drama. The show was about to begin, and it started with the first criminal turned victim who had approached the bicycle and tried to take it on a ride. He never noticed the attached string and kept on riding the bike until being given the most shocking surprise of his life, being instantly thrown off.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
The incident scared him to death, causing him to run for his life. You would think that he'd seen it all, but this is just the show's beginning. Many other people also tried to take that same bicycle, and they were all taught the same lesson, one after another, as they tumbled off the bike. It turns out that just one bicycle could be used to teach a multitude of very good lessons, and though nobody was hurt, they would probably have to think twice about whenever to steal a bicycle again. Number 7. The truck trap. Sometimes it can be really annoying to see crimes being committed over and over again. I guess these truck drivers felt this, which prompted them to make their next move. According to them, they were tired of the constant thefts they had to endure on the job, so they decided to do something about it. Their plan is going to thrill you. As a trap, they would act like they had forgotten to close their truck while delivering goods and would stay hidden, waiting for any fool who was bold enough to go after the bait in broad daylight. Astonishingly, they would realize that many fools existed and would attempt such a venture, so catching the thief and having fun soon became a joint occupation for the drivers. As victims would enter into the truck, they would lock them in and take them on a ride. At this point, you might ask the thief victims to hold on tight and grab a seatbelt, but there are none, so they dangle and tumble in the back of the truck. The worst part of the scenario is that they don't even know where they're being taken to. You can see that they're filled with nothing but fear, and if you think these drivers are taking them to the police, well, then you've got it all wrong. Instead, it becomes a very long drive that leads to a distant city that no one, including the thieves, could imagine. After exhausting the thieves from the long ride, they eventually let the truck open, and here you'll find them running into the unknown to save their own lives. However, if he wasn't rich enough to have transportation money, he would not only have a long trek home, but also might have to spend the night on the streets since it was already late. Number 8. Failed deceit. Now, it might be so exciting to see a movie of actors pulling off a great money heist that causes you to fantasize about it, but hold on, because those are the kind of things that should not be tried at home, especially if you don't have the wisdom, skills, and guts. However, people are still stubborn and will sometimes try to push things well beyond their own capacity. Such is the thief who was ambitious enough to try and rob a bank. Surprisingly, he was successful in taking as much money as he wanted, but planning the theft is not complete without the perfect exit. So the guy finds it difficult to get away from the scene of the crime. He's been persistently chased down by cops, and weary of the chase, he tries to make a smart move by running into a healthcare center, acting as a waiting patient. He was also smart enough to quickly notify the healthcare workers to tell the police that he saw a thief run in a certain direction. He did this because police saw him run towards the hospital, so it was a smart move to save his own head, and the cops initially believed him.
Cuando trató de abandonar el lugar, el último policía notó algo sospechoso en él y tras identificarlo, lo redujo junto a sus compañeros.
They were all troopsing towards the direction that he pointed to, but still he couldn't hold on anymore when he thought that all the policemen had finished entering. He then tried to make an exit but was stopped in the doorway by another incoming officer who noticed his strange behaviors, and it drew the attention of other police. On close examination, they would soon realize that he was the one who had perpetrated the armed robbery, and they took him away. If he had been more calm, like the cool actors in the money heist movies, he would have gotten away with the crime. But remember, stuff like that is not to be tried at home. Number 9. The perfect intrusion. In this clip, we find the perfect intrusion of a pizza delivery guy coming in handy to catch a thief on the run. The thief, oblivious to the fact that he can't trust anyone, makes him fall into his own trap. As he runs away from the police officers, he carelessly tries to run past the pizza guy, only carrying about his escape, but this was his undoing, as the good citizen intervened by quickly placing a foot forward, giving the thief a smooth and swift fall.
I started walking towards the road, and I was like, I can't do anything with my hands because I'm holding the pizza, so I just stuck my leg out.
This, of course, slowed him down, aiding the officers to get to and arrest him. As for the delivery man, he had just helped to restore peace to society, but for the thief, he had clearly seen how stupid he was. Number 10. Impossible manhole. Now, I really don't know the desperation that drives people to do crazy things, but in the next clip, we see a criminal who seems so desperate that he couldn't care less about any of the consequence. In this clip, the man is seen trying to steal a public manhole cover, but the fact that he is trying to steal the cover doesn't make the entire scenario crazy. Rather, the crazy part of the scenario is that he's perpetuating the crime right in broad daylight. To hell with the consequences, or possibly his thoughts. But after all, this was Colombia, where this type of stealing is rampant. Even while he struggled to remove the cover, a passerby walked onto the scene, but he couldn't care less as he continued on his business. He eventually took off the cover, but had forgotten one thing. It's a fact that audacity is not enough to commit a crime, as you also need to have some stamina. He clearly lacked this, and soon fell into the hole where he took off the cover. It was hilarious. And finally coming out of the hole, going away with the cover was no longer the plan, as he needed to be able to take away his destabilized body first. He was lucky to have had no injuries. Number 11. Wrong timing. Sometimes clumsiness is not the only problem to tackle when committing crimes. There's also the problem of being in the right place at the right time. And honestly, not many criminals are lucky in that regard. And you're about to see that in this next clip. In the clip, you can see a man walking into an eatery and trying to make a smooth and quiet theft. The restaurant was almost empty except for one couple who was at the end, so it looked safe. But hold on and take a guess who the couple is. The man is quite unlucky because the couple were both off-duty cops. And he'll be paying big time just because he went to the right place at the wrong time. Number 12. The wrong target. Sometimes thieves fall into their own trap by picking the wrong target. Such is the pair of thieves who drove into the scene with a motorbike. They soon approached a car that was targeted for their robbery, but instead of the car obliging to their trying to open it, it immediately drove away from their grip, pushing them outside while hitting the motorcycle which they came with. It soon dawned upon them that they had picked the wrong target and tried to escape with their sanity, but just when they had climbed onto their motorcycle again, a car comes crashing into them to give them a final warning to never try it again. Number 13. Worms eat dust. It's hilarious how some people will perpetuate their own crime, and just looking at some schemes is going to tell you that many criminals are not good in the business and need better jobs. But will they ever learn? Well, in this clip, we'll laugh when we see how these thieves decided to steal from a closed bar at night. Trying not to be seen by anyone, they soon began crawling on their bellies like worms. Watching the video has been proven to be comedic, and while they think that they're smart, I'm unsure of how far they can actually go. Because as you know, worms eat dust. Number 14. God save me. Sometimes even the worst people will remember God when they're in deep trouble. This includes thieves and criminals as well. In this clip, we see a criminal trying to steal from a store by coming in boldly and taking everything he wants. And out of fear, the other customers, along with the shop's owner, eventually leave, locking him inside. He continues to find his way and was alone in the shop, continuing on a stealing spree. When he was done and ready to leave, he was shocked to find that he could not leave the shop. He had tried different means to break the door, but it also became to no avail. You soon realize what's happening and that the situation was nothing short of a trap. He begins to express a nervous breakdown, asking God to please save him, and God was indeed going to save him, but that would unfortunately be in prison for him. Number 15. Karate King. Imagine trying to assault a legendary martial artist like Jackie Chan. Let's assume that you already know that you'll be digging your own grave and will never try such a stupid move. However, that scene is about to play out now. In this clip, two thieves were unlucky to come at a night shift worker who was a strong karate black belt holder and former Marine combat trainer.
The customer who stepped in when things went south has more than 20 years of jiu-jitsu training and tells us in that moment,
people will take out their phones and record and not help a person.
The result became a quick lesson about the things that you can go around doing and those that you cannot. One of the robbers tried to attack the man from behind with a 12-inch blade, kick-starting the fight, but ultimately the subdued thieves were easily handed over to the police with no issues and no items having been stolen or destroyed. Number 16. Cobblestone Thieves. In a shocking case of insecurity that's gone viral on social media, two dumb thieves threw cobblestones at a parked vehicle in Argentina to steal valuables from inside. The story goes like this. A couple of delinquents thought they had hit the jackpot when they stumbled upon an abandoned car, thinking that there were valuables inside, but they didn't know that they were being watched by the police from a monitoring center. Upon seeing that their operation was a bust as the car was empty, they quickly decided to retreat, but unfortunately for them, the operations center had quickly notified mobile patrolling units to intercept the suspects. They would arrive quickly, catching the thieves trying to make a run for it across a pedestrian bridge. Number 17. Fake Exit Knockout. The clumsiness of some thieves will always be hilarious, and as long as society is concerned, there will always be criminals in that category, and I don't even know why they would go into crime in the first place when they're not real crime material. A good example is this criminal who goes into a store and tries to rob it. He does so successfully being armed with a weapon, but it will soon have a sharp twist of events. Now, I don't know if the guy had forgotten his glasses or if it was just karma that was working against him, but after stealing, he quickly advanced toward an intended exit, which he had believed was an open window. Surprisingly for him, that window would be closed with transparent glass, and the speed at which he had ran towards the window only helped to knock him out instantly. This was basically him handing himself over to the police due to his own stupidity. Though he probably wished that he was dead, he clearly was not, and he wasn't even hurt. Perhaps it was all just a trick of karma to eventually make him get arrested. Number 18. Watery Escape. On the list, this is a story of another frustrated truck driver who decided to give criminals a taste of their own medicine by setting up a trap. Just like with the other two drivers, he also left his truck open and hid in an unseen place, awaiting any one of the groups of people who had previously been there to plague him. After a while, a thief in that category would appear, thinking that it was his lucky day. He quickly dives into the open truck to try and steal as much as possible, but it's soon all darkness shortly after. The doors were shut with him still at the back, and his horror movie begins. After tumbling for quite a long time, he found the vehicle had soon halted, but what could be next? As he was being taken to the police, where he would probably spend the night in jail? Well, no, that will be a wrong guess once again. Instead, the car is parked in front of a dirty river, and as soon as the door opens, the thief blindly jumps out and falls into the river, getting the shock of his life. He probably won't sleep in a cell tonight, but this is a very good lesson that should keep him indoors for a while. Number 19. Home Invaded. Everyone would love to be able to leave their homes, travel somewhere far, and still come back to see their property intact, but things don't always work out that way. What's the worst that could happen? Well, a total stranger could be lying in your bed, or someone could be cooking in your kitchen with weapons nearby. While you might not be able to relate to any of these situations, one couple had to deal with a real-life scenario. After a 5-day vacation, they returned home to find a stranger sleeping peacefully on their bed. The house was well organized, with even cooked meals in the kitchen, and the 28-year-old man from Poland seemed to be living the life in their home and even had a perfumed bath. However, he had kept his weapons close, consisting of a metal claw hammer, a knife, a truncheon, and some scissors. After being arrested and then going to court, his lawyer would explain that he was not a criminal, as he actually worked in an upholstery center. However, he had problems with his housemates that had made him homeless. Having nowhere else to go, he entered the house thinking that it was empty, and ultimately would admit to burglary and theft of food, drink, and utilities. Number 20. Busted 1 out of 3. Suppose you're ever planning to be a criminal. In that case, you should know better than to collaborate with people who are capable of betraying you. This is one lesson that we probably have derived from the next clip, which is simultaneously very hilarious. In the clip, 3 ladies go on a shoplifting operation. The plan was for 2 out of 3 of them to actually steal, while the driver waited for them to drive away. Everything was good up until the operation's ending, when only one lady had gotten to the car safely. The other one had run towards the car and tried to open the door, but it seemed to be locked. Nobody could understand what was happening, confused whether as it was sheer bad luck or an act of betrayal that was playing out right before our eyes. Sights like this are a rare one, and we only see them in movies very often. However, this was a real-life scenario. The unfortunate girl, finding out that the car's doors would not open and the car had been driven off, leaving her behind, took to running on foot, and that did not get her very far. Police would apprehend her shortly afterwards, and as for the other 2, they were never found. Which of these stories excited you the most? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Like this video and subscribe to this channel for more videos like it in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.